Bonjour, bienvenue. Welcome to French 102, Chapter 6. This is a video to help you learn the material and to review, hopefully, the material. Okay? So, again, Chapter 6 for Liaisons, French 102. The most important thing in this chapter, folks, is I call them the Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp verbs. Okay? If you can, take a screenshot of this. I'm going to hold it up for you and just take like a nice screenshot or something, okay? I'll put it on the side. Maybe that'll help for some of you too. Okay. Go ahead and take a screenshot. Voila. Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp. We sometimes call these the 16 special verbs, and these are all on page 243. And basically, these are the verbs that they use être as the helping verb, as the auxiliary verb. Okay. An example: I went or I have gone is je suis allé. If you look at page 242. All right. So we have the forms of être, and you have your past participle. So it's the passé composé. It's the past tense. In English, it would be sort of like, it could be either the simple past, I went, or the present perfect, I have gone. Okay? What's a little confusing is that this actually kind of covers both. Remember last chapter using avoir. J'ai mangé, j'ai bu, j'ai acheté. I ate, I drank, I have purchased, I bought. It could be either I have eaten, or I ate. If you say j'ai mangé, J apostrophe AI, and then manger with the EX ambigu, right? J'ai mangé. But here, for this chapter, we're concentrating on the verbs that use être, okay? You see this pattern, by the way, a lot in Italian and in German, not in Spanish, but in some of the other major European languages. Verbs of coming and going, verbs of movement. If you look at all these, devenir, rester, monter, rentrer, sortir, venir, aller, naître. These are all verbs of coming and going, usually of movement. We call them non-transitive verbs. Not that you need to worry about that term right now if you don't want to. Descendre, entrer, retourner, tomber, revenir, arriver, mourir, partir, passer. I use passer. Sometimes this one can be used with être. If you say, like, I swung by your house, I passed by your house. Je suis passé chez toi. Je suis passé par ta maison, par le magasin. Like I swung by or I passed by that place. Passer, though, it can go either way. You can use avoir. Like, j'ai passé de bonnes vacances. I spent some good vacation in France. J'ai passé un bon weekend chez Pierre. I spent a nice weekend at Pierre's house. So for that one, you'd use avoir. The only time you'd use passé is if you use it in the sense of going somewhere. Remember, these are all coming and going verbs, even dying and being born, right? Coming and going. All right. Devenir. I'll go through each one and I'll talk about the past participle. Devenir. Devenu. Okay. Je suis devenu professeur en 2000. Okay. Alors, je suis professeur depuis 20 ans. J'enseigne le français depuis 20 ans. Okay, I've been teaching French for 20 years. It's the year 2000. Depuis means since, remember? So I became a teacher in 2000 when I finished graduate school, okay? Je suis devenu. Now, for this case, je suis devenu as a guy, devenu just ending in you, okay? Je suis devenu professeur. Resté, hier, je ne suis pas sorti, je suis resté chez moi. So I didn't go out yesterday, I stayed at my house. Je suis resté, d'accord? Monté, j'ai visité Paris, et je suis monté dans la Tour Eiffel. All right, last summer, I went to Paris, and I was with some friends, and I went up the Eiffel Tower. Je suis monté à pied. Okay, we took the elevator partway up, and then we walked the stairs. So, nous sommes montés. My friends and I, nous sommes montés. So, since it's masculine plural, it was my friend Marie-Hélène, and then Guillaume, and their partners and I. So, we all went up. Mixed gender, monté would be M-O-N-T-E, accent aigu S, because it was a mixed gender, masculine plural, right? Nous sommes montés. Okay, notice how I use that. We went up. Nous sommes montés. Rentrer, you could say, I don't know, vendredi soir, je suis rentré chez moi à 8 heures. Okay, I came back home around 8 o'clock. Rentrer, to return, kind of like to re-enter your house. People use rentrer especially with like returning to where you live. Okay. Sortir, je ne suis pas sorti hier. All right. If you want to say I didn't go out yesterday, je suis sorti or je ne suis pas sorti. Remember, to negate it, you're going to negate the helping verb. Je ne suis pas sorti. Venir, je suis venu. Okay. For all the ones based on venir, devenir, revenir, venir, venu, V-E-N-U, venu. Je suis venu chez toi. Aller, je suis allé en France l'année passée. L'année dernière, je suis allé en France. I went to France last year. It could be I have gone or I went. D'accord? Je suis allé. Now, if it were female speaking, she would say je suis allé, and she would make the past participle agree, feminine singular. In that case, it would be je suis allé, two e's. Notice that when your helping verb is être, when your auxiliary verb is être, the past participle must always agree in gender and number with the subject. Okay, so elle est partie. If you want to say she left, right? Elle est partie. P-A-R-T-I-E. P-A-R-T-I-E. Right? They went. If it's a group of females, elles sont parties. Elles sont parties. They left. How would you spell that one? Elles sont parties. It'd be P-A-R-T-I-E-S. Right? For a group of females. Right? Feminine plural. They left. Elles sont parties. D'accord? Naître. You have this word né. Je suis né à Brockport. All right. You'll see this one a lot. Like né, whatever. If you see obituaries, if it says like Eileen Smith, né Johnston, right? Né means born, right? So if it says like Eileen Smith, né Johnson, né would be like her maiden name, right? I think the reason why they do that is in obituaries, every letter, every word counts. They charge extra for it, right? So né is a shorthand version of saying born whatever, like your birth name was whatever. Okay, and it's kind of funny. It's a French word, but we use it in English, but usually only for obituaries sometimes, right? So né would be born. Je suis né à Brockport. Okay, I was born in Brockport. Je suis né. Okay. Then we have descendre. Je suis descendu. Descendre can be used to get off a bus, to go down, like je suis monté dans la tour Eiffel et après je suis descendu. D'accord? Entrer, retourner, same thing, I accent aigu, accent aigu. Je suis entré, je suis retourné. Tomber, if someone fell, elle est tombée, she fell. I accent aigu, double E, right? Elle est tombée. Revenir, revenu. Elle est revenue, she came back. If you say elle est revenue, of course, R-E-V-E-N-U-E, right? Arrivé, je suis arrivé. Elle est arrivée. Le train est arrivé. Le train, it's like masculine singular, so it's like saying he or il. The train has arrived, right? Le train est arrivé. There's an old Christmas song that says, "Joy to the world, the Lord is come." All right, so we have vestiges of this a little bit in English. If you read Shakespeare, I remember reading a play one time by Shakespeare. And I often do like the Shakespeare in the Park stuff in the summer. And I remember one of them was like the king is arrived. I forget exactly which play it was, but they're saying like the king is arrived, right? Or the king is come. So you'll see stuff like this in Old English a little bit, or older English, maybe Renaissance English even a little bit. Okay. Mourir, mort, irregular past participle, M-O-R-T. So who's that singer who recently passed away? John Prine. Il est mort. Okay, M-O-R-T. So he passed away recently, sadly. Also, décédé, right? Deceased. Il est décédé or mort. M-O-R-T. Betty White is not dead yet, luckily. Elle n'est pas morte. Okay, so past participle there, M-O-R-T, but add an E for woman, right? Elle est morte ou elle n'est pas morte. Okay, she did not pass away yet. Thank God. All right, partir, parti, passer, passer. You know that one, okay? So again, the acronym I like to use is Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp. Also, I'll try to send this as a song typed out for you, but the little song I used to do when I taught high school, and I do it sometimes with college people. It's all the verbs except for rester with alouette. Okay, so it goes aller, monter, arriver, retourner, entrer, rentrer, tomber, descendre, revenir et devenir, sortir, partir et mourir, venir, naître, avec être, aller, monter, chantez avec moi, sing with me if you want to. Aller, monter, arriver, retourner, entrer, rentrer, tomber, descendre, revenir et devenir, sortir, partir et mourir, venir naître, avec être, So again, you know the song Alouette, right? So you could do that. I'll type that up and send it to you, I think. And there you go. Okay. So there you have it, folks. All the verbs for Dr. and Mrs. Vandertramp that use être for your helping verb. Have a look at 242, 243. Okay. Another very important grammar point. I'm going to do the grammar first, and then we'll talk about some of the vocab. Okay. Another very important grammar point. Pendant et depuis. All right, so we talked about this a little bit. Depuis means since, basically, and the way you use it in French is use it with the present tense. So I've been speaking French for 30 years. I started learning in middle school. So I would say, je parle français depuis 30 ans. Since 30 years, literally, you may someday meet a French person translating directly who may say something like, I speak English since 20 years, okay? I speak English since 20 years, because that would be like a word-by-word translation for what it would be in French. Je parle français depuis 30 ans. Okay? Je parle français depuis 30 ans. Okay, so in English we'd say for 30 years. I have been speaking French for 30 years. Notice how we do it in English. We use the present perfect progressive. I have been speaking French for 30 years. But in French, it's actually easier. Je parle français depuis 30 ans. Notice I'm just using the present tense here, and depuis, it's an ongoing activity, okay? Je parle français depuis 30 ans. J'enseigne le français depuis 20 ans. So I've been teaching French rather, since 20 years, okay? J'enseigne le français depuis 20 ans, okay? Depuis 20 ans, j'enseigne le français. Enseigner, of course, is to teach. J'enseigne le français depuis 20 ans, d'accord? Now, pendant can mean during. Pendant, it looks like pending, right? Whenever you see an A and T, by the way, it's kind of like an ing. So, if I say I studied in France for 10 months, now I'm going to use the passé composé, okay? When I was young, when I was a student in the 90s, I studied in France for 10 months. J'ai étudié en France, and then pendant 10 mois. So literally, during 10 months, I was a student in France, okay? So, j'ai étudié en France pendant 10 mois. D'accord? J'ai étudié en France pendant 10 mois. During 10 months, during that amount of time, that's when I was a student in France, when I studied in France, okay? J'ai étudié en France pendant 10 mois, okay? If you want to say the example here, she stayed at home for 2 days. Again, a lot of these in English we would just use for, but I want you to resist the temptation to use pour, okay? So, elle est restée pendant 2 jours chez elle, right? If she was in confinement, let's imagine Chloe, our friend Chloe in France, and she maybe has not left the house in 2 weeks and everything like that during what they call in France le confinement, okay? So, elle est restée chez elle pendant deux semaines, pendant 15 jours, okay? For some reason that I don't really know why, for a 2-week period, they always call it 15 jours in France, 15 days, okay? Je ne sais pas pourquoi, don't ask me why, I don't know why, but they always say a 2-week period, 15 jours, okay? 15 days. I don't know why, je ne sais pas pourquoi, mais bon, c'est comme ça, c'est la vie, right? Elle est restée chez elle pendant 15 jours. So, in English, you'd be like, she stayed at home for 2 weeks, mais en français, elle est restée chez elle pendant 15 jours. Répétez, s'il vous plaît. Elle est restée chez elle pendant 15 jours. Notice how we're using pendant there, during that amount of time. Or it'd be like for in English, kind of. But again, I'm going to caution you to not use pour for that. Okay? Next up, let's talk about direct object pronouns. All right. Les objets directs. Okay. Direct object pronouns. Have a look at 254. You want to really study over those pages really well. 254, 255. 254. 254. All right. If a direct object, let me just say this real fast. A direct object is something that receives the action of the verb. It gets something done to it. Okay? So, if someone says, if you say, she sees me, right? Elle me voit. Elle is your subject. Voir is your verb. And I, or me, me is the direct object. Elle me voit. She sees me. The direct object receives the action of the verb. Quote unquote, get something done to it. Okay? So she sees me. Elle me voit. Let's see. If you want to say she loves me. She loves me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Think about the Beatles song, right? Elle m'aime. Elle still is your subject, right? The conjugated verb is aimer. Elle m'aime. So she loves me. Elle m'aime. Okay? The example I talked about in class, the movie where the girl falls in love with the boy and her father is trying to like beat the young man or something, and she says, "Père, je l'aime," right? That's a movie called Tous les matins du monde, All the Mornings of the World. She says, "Father, I love him," right? The le would be him, right? Le. However, before vowel sound, you have an L apostrophe, right? Père, je l'aime. Try saying everybody. Père, je l'aime. Répétez. Father, I love him, right? Père, je l'aime. Okay? How do we say I love you? Normally it'd be te, right? She sees you. Elle te voit. Right? She sees you. Elle te voit. But, so te would be you, right? You are receiving the action of the verb voir. She sees you. Elle te voit. But she loves you. Elle t'aime, right? All right. So if you ever get a French girlfriend, someone could say, "Oui, elle t'aime." She loves you, right? Elle t'aime. Elle t'adore. Elle te trouve fascinant. She finds you fascinating, right? Elle t'aime. D'accord? Okay. So if you look at 254, we have me or M apostrophe, te or te apostrophe. Okay. Te or te apostrophe. Le or la or L apostrophe. All right. So far, so good, I hope. Me, te, le, or la. For the first column here, you could have all of them be, apostrophe before an H or a vowel, right? Elle m'aime, elle t'aime, elle l'aime. She loves him, she loves you, she loves me, right? Elle m'aime, elle t'aime, elle l'aime. D'accord? She loves her, she loves him. All these would be the same, right? Me, te, le, or M apostrophe, te apostrophe, L apostrophe. Okay? Us is going to be nous. So she loves us, elle nous aime. Or she sees us, elle nous voit. How about she helps us with the verb aider? Looks like to aid somebody. What would it be like she helps us? Like the tutor, Tanya the tutor, she helps us. Elle nous aide. Oui? Répétez. Elle nous aide. D'accord. She sees us, elle nous voit. If you want to say the teacher, Professor Farrington, helps us in class, il nous aide. D'accord? So nous, we are receiving the action of the verb of aider. He helps us. Il nous aide. If your friend is helping you, you and your roommates, if your friend is helping you move, right? Il nous aide. Now, how about if you wanted to use like a construction, like a future construction? He's going to help us tomorrow. We're moving tomorrow, all of us roommates, and he's going to help us tomorrow. Where do you put your nous? Il va aider, right? Il va nous aider. D'accord? Il va nous aider. He's going to help us. The nous in front of aider. Okay? Il va nous aider. How about if you want to say, like, I'm going to visit the Eiffel Tower when I go to Paris? Je vais, it's feminine, right? La visiter. Je vais la visiter. D'accord? Notice where your direct object pronoun goes. In front of a conjugated verb, in front of an infinitive if possible. Okay? I'm going to visit it. Je vais la visiter. If you're going to visit the Louvre, le musée du Louvre, the museum, which is masculine singular, when you go to Paris, je vais, how would you say in that case? If it's masculine, I'm going to visit it. Je vais le visiter. Je vais le visiter. Je vais le voir. Je vais aller le visiter. Je vais le visiter. D'accord? So here's an important point, folks. If all you have is a conjugated verb, put your pronoun right in front of that. Je t'aime, elle nous aime, elle nous voit, il nous aide, je le visite, etc. However, if you have an infinitive, always put your object pronoun right in front of the infinitive. Think of the infinitive as an aspirateur. All right, it's a vacuum cleaner, and it sucks the infinitive, it sucks the pronoun right in front of it. Okay. So there's a French song that says, "I'm going to love you." Je vais t'aimer. I'm going to love you, right? Notice the te is right in front of your infinitive aimer, right? Je vais t'aimer. I think it's a Celine Dion song. I'm not sure. I have to Google it. But anyway, je vais t'aimer. I'm going to love you. It's like, it's a very common name for something, right? Like, I'm gonna love you. Je vais t'aimer. D'accord? D'accord. Je vais t'aimer. Okay? Très bien. But if you have a conjugated verb, je t'aime, you just put the te in front of the conjugated verb, je t'aime, je t'adore. Okay? Vous, same thing. Je vous aide. Je vous adore. You could say I love you. A very old-fashioned way they might have used vous back, a few hundred years ago. If you read a play from the 17th century or something, it would be like Je vous adore, madame, right? I love you, madam, right? Or Je vous adore, mademoiselle. Hundreds of years ago, they would have been more formal, right? So they would use vous instead of tu, right? Je vous adore, mademoiselle, all right? How about I love them? If I'm talking about how I feel about apples, je les adore, okay? I love them. Je les adore, all right? Or if I go to Hilton, my hometown, and I buy apples during the Apple Festival, je les achète. D'accord? So that leads us into a little segue into these slightly irregular verbs in the present tense. Acheter, notice how it takes an accent grave. Try I guess, je les achète. Okay, j'adore les pommes, je vais à Hilton pour le festival de pommes, et j'adore les pommes de Hilton, je les achète à Hilton. Okay, so I buy them in Hilton, I go to Kelly's fruit farm where I'm from, and I buy them when I go there. Okay, je les achète. The les here is referring to les pommes, the apples, right? Je les achète. If I have one apple in my hand, which is feminine, la pomme, right? How would I say I'm going to eat it? I could just say je la mange, I eat it, but I'm going to eat it, je vais la manger. Notice that I'm putting the pronoun in front of the conjugated verb, okay? Je veux le manger, je voudrais le manger, je vais la manger. I'm going to eat it. Je vais la manger. Your infinitive, what's your infinitive in the sentence? Je vais la manger. Remember? Je vais la manger. Your infinitive always ends in er, ir, or re, right? So here's your infinitive. Je vais la manger. I'm going to eat it, referring to the apple. All right? Let's say I'm talking about the sandwich, the croque monsieur, or le sandwich. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to eat it. Je vais le manger. Oui? Je vais le manger. Okay, I have a car. I'm going to sell it on Craigslist. We have vendre, right? So, la voiture, which is feminine. Je vais la vendre. D'accord? Vendre, of course, is an infinitive, ends in re. And the la is replacing the car. Remember, we use pronoun replacing la voiture. We use pronouns because they stand in for, or it's a shorter, easier way of referring to the longer noun, right? La voiture, 3 whole syllables, right? La voiture, feminine singular. Je vais la vendre. Instead of just saying je vais vendre la voiture, having already mentioned it, je vais la vendre demain, right? Tomorrow I'm going to sell it, or next week. La semaine prochaine, je vais la vendre avec Craigslist, or sur Craigslist. D'accord? Bon, okay, très bien. Hopefully you're doing all right with that. For the imperative with pronouns, you could say, you put them afterwards, right? Like you want the child to eat the apple, right? Mange-la, or you want Snow White to eat the apple. Mange-la. Maybe I want you to finish your homework assignments. I might say, finissez-les. For a vous form, right? In the to form, I might say, finis-les, right? Finish your assignments. Finish those assignments, right? Finis-les, les devoirs. Finis les devoirs, or finis-les. Notice how I have that. Finis-les pour demain. Finis-les la semaine prochaine. Finish them, all right? This is actually easier for English speakers because this kind of follows our pattern, right? Like we say, eat it to the apple. Mange-la. Right? If you're the evil witch in Snow White and you want her to eat the apple, repeat, mange-la. All right? Or mange-la. But if you want to warn Snow White and you say, don't eat it, referring to the apple, right? Do not eat it. Ne la mange pas. Ne la mange pas. Everybody, ne la mange pas. I'd love for you to Google or look on YouTube for a movie, Les Parapluies de Cherbourg, The Umbrellas of Cherbourg. There's a famous song, says Mon amour, ne me quitte pas. There's also a famous song by Jacques Brel, Ne me quitte pas, don't leave me, right? Quitter is to leave someone. So, ne me quitte pas. The song goes, Mon amour, ne me quitte pas. Da, 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 da. Mon amour, ne me quitte pas. So what is she saying? She says he's going off to war, right? Her young boyfriend. And she says, Mon amour, ne me quitte pas. Don't leave me, right? Don't leave me behind. Ne me quitte pas. D'accord? Get the idea. Okay, I hope you get the idea. If not, email me or call me and we'll figure it out. Okay? D'accord. In terms of other grammar points, so yeah, let's have a look with acheter and everything payer. Let's have a look at 249. I'm not going to go over the vocabulary in this because you can study it on your own, but I encourage you to study that as much as you can, okay? All right, we have payer. Some people with payer, some people use a Y. For example, my friend Chloe in her novels, she writes je paie. I personally prefer to use an I, so I would say je paie. All right, or je sais. D'accord? You'll see both. I pay. Je paie, je paie. All right, try guys. Let's go through it on 249. Try guys. Je paie, tu payes, il paie, elle paie. Either way, you have an E, ES, E pattern. Okay? Now you have the Y, though, no choice. Nous payons, vous payez, il paie. All right, same thing for essayer to try. When I go to France, if people compliment my French, I say je fais un effort, or j'essaie de parler autant que possible. J'essaie de parler bien. J'essaie de parler français beaucoup quand je suis en France. So I try to speak French as much as possible when I go to Quebec or in France. J'essaie de parler en français autant que possible, beaucoup, tous les jours, avec les gens. Okay? Très bien. J'essaie. Personally, I like it, the AIE, but it's not wrong if you put the Y. D'accord? Some people do that. D'accord. Let's talk about those verbs like though, acheter and amener, espérer, préférer. Let's have a look at 239. As you look these over in 249, 239. Have a look at these and really notice how the patterns go in terms of the accent marks. Okay, let's run through it together. You can listen and repeat. Acheter, to purchase or to buy. Repeat avec j'achète. Don't forget you have accent grave like that. J'achète. Tu achètes. Il achète. Elle achète. Now it changes. And now it drops off. Nous achetons. Vous achetez. And finally, ils achètent. So for all of them in the so-called boot, when I say boot verb, it's like a je, tu, il, and then ils, il, yes. So all the ones in the L or the so-called boot follow this pattern, whereas the new form and the vous form do not. Okay, nous achetons, vous achetez. Amener, we have the verb apporter, to bring. Usually amener, though, is to bring a person. Chloe was like, est-ce que tu peux m'amener à l'aéroport? Can you bring me to the airport? So we use amener for people. Okay, let's try it. J'amène, répétez, j'amène, tu amènes, so grave, right? J'amène, tu amènes, il amène. Nous amenons, vous amenez, ils amènent. So once again, we have the accent grave for all the forms in the so-called boot. Okay? Or maybe I should do it this way for you guys. Okay? Voilà. J'amène, tu amènes, il amène, ils amènent, elles amènent. Nous amenons, vous amenez, no accent mark. Okay? Now with espérer, we have a different thing. We have grave, 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 aigu, aigu, grave. Okay? Let's try, guys. J'espère, I hope. J'espère, tu espères, il espère, elle espère. Nous espérons. Now we have the accent aigu, right? Nous espérons, vous espérez, ils espèrent, elles espèrent. So again, all the ones in the so-called boot or the shoe take the accent grave, and then new form, vous form, take aigu. Nous espérons, vous espérez. Okay. By the way, despair. Think of the word despair, like désespérer in French, to be out of hope. Like if you despair, you have no hope. Okay. Now we have préférer. I call this the TP accents. Okay, so you have préfère, je préfère. Try guys, je préfère, tu préfères, Il ou elle préfère. For all these, you have the accent aigu and then grave. All right. So préfère. Je préfère. Tu préfères. Il préfère. Elle préfère. Also, they prefer. Il préfère. Il préfère. Ou elle préfère. They prefer. And then in the new form, the vous form, something really strange happens. You have the accent aigu twice. Nous préférons, and vous préférez. D'accord? So make sure you study those really, really well. You have acheter, amener, apporter, préférer. Apporter, again, is to bring a thing. Like I told you about making a picnic in France. People always say, qui va apporter le vin? Okay? I usually say stuff like, je vais acheter le pain et le fromage, et Guillaume va apporter le vin. Okay? Très bien. We have il y a, plus a noun, is how long ago something happened. So, some examples on 237. Quand avez-vous fini vos devoirs? Il y a 30 minutes. Il a vendu ses livres il y a 2 semaines. Nous avons rendu visite à papa il y a 3 mois. Il y a un an, j'ai perdu mon chat. So, il y a plus amount of time can mean kind of ago, especially when used in conjunction with the passé composé. Let's see, a year ago I went to Switzerland, okay, in April of 2019. So, il y a un an, je suis allé en Suisse. Keep in mind, guys, when it's feminine countries, use en. Okay, I went to Switzerland a year ago. I actually spent the day in Geneva speaking French. It was pretty awesome. Il y a un an, they have an accent which is different from the French accent, but that's okay. I can understand, no problem. Il y a un an, je suis allé en Suisse. So I went to Switzerland 1 year ago. Il y a un an, je suis allé en Suisse. Okay, so 1 year ago. Notice how I'm using it in the conjunction with the passé composé. Okay, il y a un an, je suis allé en Suisse. D'accord? Okay, très bien. Let's see. We have some verbs that we have to look at on 232. Vendre. Okay, so the past participle vendu. J'ai vendu ma maison. J'ai vendu une voiture. Okay, let's see if you understand what I'm saying here. Il y a 3 ans. Let's see, this was in 2017, yeah. Il y a 3 ans, j'ai vendu une voiture blanche. Non, une voiture bleue sur Craigslist. D'accord? Il y a 3 ans, moi, j'ai vendu une voiture bleue sur Craigslist. So I used to have a blue car, and I sold it on Craigslist 3 years ago. Il y a 3 ans, notice how I'm using il y a plus the amount of time, right? Il y a 3 ans, en 2017, j'ai vendu une voiture bleue sur Craigslist. D'accord? So we have vendre. Notice how this is going to be a typical pattern for a lot of our verbs. Je vends. Okay, try everybody. Je vends. Notice the je form ends in S. Je vends. Tu vends. Both the je and tu form end in S. Same thing for rendre and all these other verbs that we're going to look at. Il ou elle, he or she sells, third person, present. Il vend, elle vend. D'accord? Now you have your ONS. Nous vendons. Try everybody. Vendons. Vous vendez. EZ. Easy. And then they sell. Ils vendent. Elles vendent. Once again, you have your ENT being largely silent. Okay? Unless it's followed by a vowel for some reason. Okay? So try it again. Je vends. Répétez. Je vends. Tu vends. Il vend. Elle vend. Nous vendons. Once again, we sell. Nous vendons. Vous vendez. Ils vendent. Elles vendent. So if someone wants, if you want to say like, what are you selling, or what does somebody sell? Qu'est-ce que vous vendez? Qu'est-ce que vous vendez? Qu'est-ce que, again, is like saying what. It's a fancy way of saying like, what is it that? Qu'est-ce que vous vendez? What are you selling? D'accord? Qu'est-ce que vous vendez? All right, répétez. Qu'est-ce que vous vendez? This can mean what is it you're selling right now, or what do you sell in general, okay? In French, they don't really make the distinction for the present tense between happening right now, this instant, and in general. So, qu'est-ce que vous vendez? You can say, what do you sell in your store in general, right? Qu'est-ce que vous vendez dans votre magasin? Dans votre boutique? Qu'est-ce que vous vendez? Or, what are you selling right now? Qu'est-ce que vous vendez? All right? Très bien. Some other verbs, top of 232. Let's go over them. Répétez. Attendre. Descendre. Entendre. Remember, like if you have something that could be taken or heard two ways, we call it a double entendre in English. Entendre. Perdre. Notice the RE is being hinted at. Perdre. Rendre, like rendre visite. Okay. Rendre, also to give something back. Je dois rendre des vidéos à la bibliothèque. So I have to go to the library, I have to return some videos. Okay. And some books. Je dois rendre des livres et des vidéos à la bibliothèque. Okay. Rendre visite. Especially in France, you're going to use rendre visite. In Quebec and in France, other French former colonies in Africa, I guess, they're using visiter these days more often. But rendre visite for paying someone a visit still in France. Par exemple, je rends visite à mes amis. Je dois rendre visite à Robert ou Pierre. And then répondre. Now we have this thing, répondez s'il vous plaît. Please respond. Répondez s'il vous plaît. That's where we get RSVP from, right? Okay. We have the verb mettre down below, which is irregular. You're also going to use this along with promettre, to promise, promettre, promise, and permettre, to permit or to allow. All right, let's try, guys. Bottom of 233. Je mets la table. Tu mets. Once again, you have your je form and your tu form ending in s. M-E-T-S. Right? Je mets, tu mets. Il ou elle, third person, he puts, she puts. Il met, elle met. New form, nous mettons. Vous mettez. And then they put, ils mettent. You could use mettre, like put things in somewhere. Like je mets des livres dans le sac. I put some books in the bag, right? Je mets un livre dans le sac. Or to set the table, je mets la table. D'accord? Past participle mis. J'ai mis les livres dans le sac. Ou bien j'ai mis la table. Okay? The rest of it's vocabulary. We went over it in class a lot. In terms of culture, I'll go over a little bit of culture here. You have this distinction between a supermarché, supermarket, and hypermarché, which is a huge one. They call them les grandes surfaces. And a lot of times in French studies, like when I was in Tours in the 90s, you had Auchan, you had Carrefour. Those are the two biggest ones that come to mind. Auchan, Carrefour. You had a little small chain called Champion, but I think that one doesn't exist anymore. But you have Leclerc. Oh yeah, Leclerc as well on 229. Okay. You have Carrefour, starting in 1963, one of the Paris suburbs, Sainte-Geneviève-des-Bois. And again, they call these often like les grandes surfaces. It looks like they have a big surface area, so maybe that's why they call them that. Les grandes surfaces. These are like big box stores. The closest would be like kind of like a Target or like a super Walmart or something. Okay. Les grandes surfaces. By the way, Walmart, because of their employment practices, has not taken off in France. And pretty much anything that would be associated with like red state America, we might say, would be pretty much not popular in France. Okay, so les grandes surfaces. It's just a reality of their culture. All right, nothing. I'm not making a judgment call. I'm just saying that's how it is in France. Okay. In terms of culture, the French kind of like little boutiques a little more. So in 237, they talk about like small specialized stores. That's how the French usually go. We might call them here like mom and pops kind of stores. People in France, they kind of prefer that. They like to know the people they're dealing with. 241, a lot of the foods in France they use kind of religious food or words for them, like les oreilles de Christ, which are like a fried kind of like a fried dough thing. Also, beaver tails, les queues de castor, very popular in Quebec, in Canada, especially in Quebec, but especially in Canada and around Ontario. Beaver tails, which are like fried dough, les queues de castor. And the French generally just tend to prefer kind of like artisanal things. A lot of organic things is really popular. There's even gluten-free now in France. Page 252, they talk about North African cuisine. You may know that France has a very large North African, sort of Middle Eastern population living in their country. A lot of these were former colonies in the Maghreb, like Algeria, Tunisia, and Morocco. So you have North African restaurants all over, and you can read all over that. La cuisine nord-africaine est très populaire en France. Parmi les spécialités de la cuisine nord-africaine, on trouve les merguez, le couscous. Couscous is very popular in France. Le couscous, the tagine, et le thé à la menthe. Okay? They often eat with their fingers. Ils mangent avec les doigts. So you might have that instead of a fork in a North African restaurant. Also in Quebec. Oh yeah, tipping, not really de rigueur in France. You might leave a little bit of extra, but not really. Okay. Page 260, you talk about Paris. Has 2.2 million in the inner city, but you have a really large area. The whole area is called Île-de-France. All right. They call it La Ville Lumière, the city of lights. And you have a public market. The French love public markets. You have Le Marché de Belleville. I'll read this over in 261. Just follow along, okay? Paris a beaucoup de marchés en plein air. The French love public markets. They just love going and kind of like talking to the vendors and buying fresh food. They just love that, okay? So very often you can meet French people at the Rochester Public Market because it's a really popular thing for the French. Paris a beaucoup de marchés en plein air. Le marché du boulevard de Belleville est un des plus connus. Il y a aussi la réputation d'être un des moins chers, donc on peut trouver des produits à bon prix. So it's a place where you can get like good prices for food there. Okay, des produits à bon prix. Comme toutes les grandes villes, Paris est divisé en quartiers qu'on appelle des arrondissements. All right, so you have neighborhoods and you have arrondissements. Remember, there are 20 arrondissements. Le marché de Belleville est dans le 11e arrondissement. C'est un quartier avec une histoire très riche. Le 11e arrondissement était le cœur du Paris révolutionnaire au XVIIIe siècle et le site de plusieurs grandes révoltes ouvrières du XIXe siècle. Aujourd'hui, la vie dans le 11e arrondissement est plus calme. Pourtant, le quartier est toujours dynamique. En effet, c'est un quartier multiculturel avec beaucoup de diversité ethnique. On trouve donc une grande variété de denrées alimentaires au marché. So you can find a really nice variety of different kinds of different kind of foods, different ethnic groups in this market. Okay. Le marché de Belleville est ouvert 2 jours par semaine, le mardi et le vendredi. C'est principalement un marché alimentaire, des fruits, des légumes, de la viande. Pourtant, on peut aussi trouver des fleurs, des tissus, des couverts et des ustensiles de cuisine. Le quartier est aussi un centre touristique où on trouve beaucoup de cafés, de pâtisseries et de restaurants. À cause du multiculturalisme du quartier, on y trouve aussi une boucherie halal, une pâtisserie cachère, un restaurant chinois et même un hammam. Okay, voilà. So it's a multicultural neighborhood. Voila. Okay, so make sure you study all your vocab in 263, 264. I'll put some more activities on Quizlet, and at some point a quiz for you. It'll probably be kind of credit bearing with a password. I will let you know about that as we go further. Okay? Hopefully this helps. Chapter 6. Study all your notes, study all your handouts and your worksheets. Keep going with your ESAM. Just study really, really well as you can. Hopefully this video helped you a little bit. You want to work on your test for April 20th. And good luck. Bonne chance, bon courage. We'll keep talking about chapter 6 after we come back from break. So I'll see you on Zoom on Tuesday the 14th, I guess. But yeah, just do your best, study all your vocab, and I will see you real soon. Au revoir, à bientôt.